Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today we need to have a good old look at a whole bunch of Pokemon cards, specifically, because we can't talk Pokemon cards every day, the alternate art Tag Team GXs. Some of them have gotten ridiculous. Not all of them, of course. Like, one that you might expect to be very, very expensive was Charizard and Braixen. And Charizard and Braixen, ladies and gentlemen, is not an expensive card at all. Like, not even a little bit. The alternate art over on TCG Player at the moment, we're talking about a market price of $20. And sure, that is nominally going up at the moment, but you'll notice it's kind of went up and then gone down, and now it's on the way up again. And I think it's fair to say, I don't think that's a mean thing to say, that actually, you know what? That's not really going up all that much. And the thing is, I'm sure a lot of you have remembered this, but let me tell you anyway, this was a promo. This wasn't one from a set with a super low pull rate or anything along those lines, so that meant that it never got quite to the ridiculous value some of the others got. Shout out to Bulbapedia for reminding me that it came in the Tag Team Generations Premium Collection, which incidentally, if that's not a product you've picked up yet and you know anywhere where you can find it, I expect this one to get dumb in the future. But apparently you can still pick up the promo card for like $20. Incidentally, I think maybe that's not a terrible idea, trying to pick up that promo card for like $20. But there are a couple other ones which are actually starting to go up. Now, they're not on the list of ridiculous ones yet, but they are starting to get up there a little bit. One of my favourites from that era was Blastoise and Piplup. Now, the thing is, that is currently showing as a market price on TCG Player of $60, but it's also currently out of stock. And the last sales were $60, $55, $55, and that's fine. But you'll notice that it is actually creeping up. Now, again, this went up just like the other one did. And now we're actually seeing this go down a bit, which is lovely. But I do think this is one that is going to start going up in the future. The good news is, although it's out of stock on TCG Player, it's pretty readily available over on eBay for like $50, so, or $50 to $60. Point is, it's fine. It's not that bad at the moment. It's going to be okay. Weirdly, all the listings seem to be from the UK, but it's still a $60 card, so we're all good, ladies and gentlemen. We're all good. But what I want to focus on today is that some of them are getting stupid, and the whole point is, if some of them are starting to get stupid, then there is a very, very good chance that as we go forward, more and more and more of these are going to start getting stupid until it's frankly too late. So let's go through what is, really, there are 5 of them that are getting a bit dumb. So let's go through a top 5, starting at number 5 with Gardevoir and Sylveon. Now, the thing about Gardevoir and Sylveon here is, and this might sound a little bit dumb, but I'm going to say it anyway, it features Gardevoir and Sylveon. And both Gardevoir and Sylveon are very, very popular Pokemon. But you'll notice, if we look at TCG Player at the moment, sure, it's nominally got a market price of $110, but it's also sold out. The last 3 solds were $110, $115, and $134. And you notice the $110 and $115 were lightly played, i.e. not entirely mint. And if we look at the graph, you will notice that this one, it did take a tiny dip, I suppose, but this is one where the graph is actually just going up. This graph is just pointing up, and it's not really doing anything else. And that's kind of relevant, honestly. That's kind of exceptionally relevant. So this might be number 5 at 110 now. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think this is going to end up being any cheaper as we go along. And certainly if we have a look at eBay right now, you're not picking it up for $110. Top 2 results we see here are $150 and $135, including shipping. There are a couple others as I look that I personally wouldn't buy that are slightly cheaper, but I think there's a pretty good reason to ignore them. if I'm sitting here and telling you that I wouldn't buy them. So that's in at number 5. In at number 4, we've got ARCEUS and DIALGA and PALKIA. Now, this is a card which I hated, like on a personal, like a visceral level. I didn't like this card. This is not a fun card for me. This ruined so many decks that I built that just could not beat this, because it could take extra prizes off a single prize Pokemon, and I would make single prize decks that would win the prize race, except they wouldn't win the prize race because of this thing. And it's got a current market price of $115, but you'll notice that the recent solds are, there's 125. There is a 50, but bear in mind that's damaged. And if we look at the graph is just going up. This is another one where it's on a pretty upwards trajectory. Now, this was some Cosmic Eclipse, which, of course, is a set which we love. A great set, which we're all big fans of. But that is a set which is now starting to sell out a little bit. And you've got 3 box legendaries. Well, 2 box legendaries and ARCEUS. Well, there is Legends ARCEUS now. Point is, very popular legendary Pokemon. The playability doesn't really factor in. When you get to this kind of price, we're talking about collectors and artwork and all of that good stuff. But it's literally a statue of the 3, and it's a great card, and it's all of these legendary Pokemon. And this is another one that I would not expect to get cheap anytime soon, like whatsoever. It is this is only going to get worse. I mean, certainly having a look on eBay at the moment, there's one there for $130, and then there's another one there for $100 with no bids, but it's only just gone up there. Think it's fair to say that one's going to end up selling for a little bit more. And my point at the moment is that your time is really running out to try and pick these up. I'm very deliberately showing you listings not sold, because I'm showing you what you're going to be paying right now. If you're going out today, what are you actually going to be spending on these? Because the price is creeping up. And I think in the not too distant future, we're going to look at $130 for this card and go, oh my goodness, that was a bargain. Why didn't I buy it then? Now, in at number 3, we've got Gengar and Mimikyu. And once again here, we're in popular Pokemon territory. People love Gengar, people love Mimikyu. Put them together on a card, people get very, very happy indeed. Now, this got a market price on TCG Player of $140, although again, worth pointing out that it is sold out. And again, worth pointing out that one of those 140 was lightly played, and also, look at the graph. When we've got the cards lower down, the cards that I didn't really mention, some of the other alternate art tag teams, they're still flicking around a little bit. These are the ones that are starting to get ridiculous. These are the ones for which the price is just starting to absolutely balloon. And these are sets, this one came from Team Up, and Team Up is starting to become a set which is hard to find. It is starting to become a set where you're just not finding it in products anymore. And it comes around here and there, but it's getting worse, ladies and gentlemen. It is getting worse and worse as we go. And of course, Gengar and Mimikyu, 2 very popular Pokemon. I mean, if we go over onto eBay trying to find this one, I can't find as many listings for this one, honestly. It's a bit more of a pain to... I'm trying to find a couple listings in a row to screenshot, and it is proving to be a little bit of a pain. But here's a listing for like $140. $140 is a lot, ladies and gentlemen. This is quite a lot. I mean, to be fair, it does match what I told you from TCG Player a moment ago, which is nice in a way, I suppose. But yeah, this one ain't getting any cheap anytime soon, I'm afraid. This one is going to get a bit redonk. But we're not even at the top of the list yet. That was only number 3. In at number 2, we've got Magikarp and Wailord. And I kind of love this because I love the artwork on this and I love me some Wailord. And I kind of hate this because I love me some Wailord and I would love to pick up this card. And I clearly didn't pick up this card when I had the chance. And that's a little bit sad to me. This one is a little bit different to the others. This is one that is currently exploding in value. If we take a look at the graph here, it's fine. And then around about August time, it just, August it starts going up. And then basically like the second we hit September, it just explodes. And we go from what was a $65 card a year ago to a $150 card now. But the last two near mint solds are 180 and 195. So that 150 is actually starting to look like, well, frankly, a bit of a bargain, if I'm honest with you. It's starting to look a little bit silly, as in a little bit silly cheap. And that's a bit of a problem. It looks like, actually, no, it's really not 150. It's quite a bit more. And maybe it's for the meme that it's got 300 HP. Maybe people just love Wailord and Magikarp. I mean, Wailord's one of my family's favourite Pokemon. We got a big Wailord, a good friend of mine literally carried back from Japan. They took a plane, but still, they had to carry it the whole way. It was too big for a suitcase. And Wailord's awesome. I love me some Wailord. But this card has weirdly exploded in the past couple of years, and that is a little bit weird to me. Now, if we head on over to eBay to see whether this is actually real or not, we can see there that, yeah, it actually is. I mean, there's a couple of ridiculous ones, but, you know, there's a couple in a row here. One is 190, buy it now. One has been bid up to 172.50. with time left still to run. And this is seemingly turning into a card that actually you are going to really struggle to find for sub $200 pretty soon. Maybe, well, you still can just about now. I don't think it's going to last. But in a number one, the one that you ain't finding for $200 or even close, it is Latias and Latios. This is a card that I meant to pick up. This is a card for a while that I wanted to go and get, because Baby Daisy Spirit Pokemon is Latias. And this is obviously a beautiful card with Latios and Latias, you know, making a heart with their faces. It's full on, proper job, adorable. It's also a $400 card. Yep. You ain't getting that for cheap anytime soon. And then this is not some kind of weird thing. Like the last three solds are 418, 390, and 477. Yeah, the last sold was 477. That's a bit of a problem. And if we look at the graph from the past year, it's gone from a 220, well, a bit more than 220, I suppose. It's gone from a 230 to a 410 in the space of a year. And this is one of those cards that is absolutely ballooning. And I don't think this is going to be coming down anytime soon. This is one of those cards where, to be blunt with you, you've missed the boat. I've missed the boat. I should have picked up this card. I didn't pick up this card. And if we have a look on eBay at the moment, yeah, there's a heavily played for $335 or a PSA worthy for $520, which honestly, one of those is way too high and one of those is way too low. The problem is everybody thinks that their card is worth being graded on PSA, so they'll put that in the listing to try and increase the value of it. If it's not been graded by PSA, it's not PSA. You know, it's not been graded by PSA. Also, is it just me or does this look heavy on the left-hand side? Might just be me being a meanie. I don't know. Oh, it's super heavy top to bottom. As in the bottom is way heavier than the top. Yeah, this is not PSA ready. This is a badly centered card with a bad listing. Point is, there is a heavily played one there for $335 or a lie for $520. And that's it. They're your options on eBay. And that's kind of my point. And I suppose there are two kind of conclusions to finish with this video. Number one, there are still some cards out there, like Blastoise and Piplup, like Charizard and Braixen, that may well be dumb in the future, but they're still at a kind of affordable price and it might still work. And there are some cards out there, especially like Latios and Latias, where the Sun and Moon era is long enough away at this stage, and you are not picking up these cards for anything like a reasonable price right now. Sorry about that. But I want to know what you think about this. I want to know your opinions. I want to know if you've got these cards, if you picked them up, how much you played. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord and chat with us about Pokemon or anything else, and get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Tobias DePrato, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So thank you very much for the support and for being a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.